All right, welcome to a special edition of the Singletrack Session here. This is number 90 of the TrailManners podcast. We're in Bellingham, Washington. This is on location, the furthest that we've been away from home.
Woohoo.
Joel's not here, but we have a special guest that's going to help get us through the Singletrack Session. No stranger to the podcast or to your listening ears. We have Jeff Hart. Jeff.
Hey-o.
So Jeff's with us, and I'm actually with Jeff. He has been my tour guide the last couple days. That's why we're getting this out a little bit late, because we've been running. So
yeah, it's rough.
It's been a rough couple days. It's been a long week, so I'm excited to finally be up here. But we'll get to the Bellingham part, because there's a lot to discuss with that. But, so we're up in Bellingham. It's actually Thursday, so as soon as we're done recording, hopefully within 20 minutes I can have this up and for the listening pleasure. But it's kind of fun. The first thing that started so I came up for work to Seattle. That's kind of how it all started. I actually flew into Portland so I could drive up with my boss. But as I got on my flight, ultra runner Greg Norander was on my flight with me. So I knew it was going to be good. Greg's an old school ultra runner, kind of under the radar, super nice guy. So it was kind of fun to be on the same flight as Greg. I didn't get to talk to him, but it was nice to say hi. But we'll start off by and Jeff, you've done your homework. Like you have some papers and everything, right?
I have papers and I did stuff and things.
So he's completely prepared for this podcast. Probably more prepared than I am.
I don't want to let Joel down.
Joel's going to be listening.
Gunning for his job apparently.
Joel doesn't listen to the podcast, but I think he's going to listen to this one. But we'll start off with just a couple races. There's some races this past weekend, and everybody knows the story. We can't cover them all, but there's some bigger ones and things that, runner-wise even. We'll start with the Silver Lake 50 that took place last weekend. On the women's side, it's super cool to see because Casey Lichtig's back. She's been out injured, kind of been struggling for a little while with some injuries, but she came through and she won that race in 8:18. Second was Annie Rutledge, 8:42, and Kara Baskin in 9:46. So she won it, almost 30 minutes on second place. So it's good to see her coming back. She's needed in the sport. She's so cool to have. On the men's side, it was a tight race. Like the top four were separated by 14 minutes.
Yeah.
Chris Weehan won in 7:30, and then Jeff Browning, the old giddy-up boy, was second in 7:36. Ben Tador was 7:41, and Aric Schulte was 7:44. So that was actually pretty tight. Pretty tight on the top four.
It's not too bad.
No, and I would be we'd have to go through so many names before we got to mine. It would be kind of a ridiculous situation.
Yeah.
And then when there was Jemez as well this past weekend, which I've never run, but every time I talk to somebody that's done it, they're like, "This is so hard. It gets hot." Especially with the fires they had, so there's more exposure.
All that exposure.
Yeah, but it's just a tough course. The women's side, Katie Arnold in 9:53. Second place was Alyssa, and I like this last name, and I won't say it right, but it's really cool. It's a Jojola. So I would say Jojola, which sounds like it should be.
Yeah.
10:32, and then Katrin Silva, 10:48. On the men's side, tight race. Christian Guerin was 7:57, so that's number one. Second place was Darren Thomas in 7:58. It was like 61 seconds behind.
Yeah, wow.
That's got to be close.
And a 7-hour race. That is a tough course.
Yeah, 8. I mean, like in 8 hours and 50. Any 50 miler, but on that one too is where it's a tough haul. And then Jesse Wesolowski, 8:21, wrapped that up, finishing third. Next up, we're going to talk about Massanutten. So a little East Coast love. Is it Massanutten or Massanutton?
Massanutten.
Okay, I said it right then.
Or I'm just totally, spouting off.
Too late. You've been on the East Coast. I haven't really. Well, I guess I've been to Atlanta before and up in the northeast, like New Hampshire and up in that area, New York, all that stuff.
Massanutton's been on my radar.
I hear a lot of good stuff coming out of that one, and and I'll say it again, and I hate to say it because people jam me, but I want to get on the East Coast.
I know, it's so tough.
But on the women's side, Kathleen Cusick, 20, and I think this was her fourth win there, 24:27.
Wow.
Kelsey Allen, 26:17, and Kelly McDonald, 26:44. So all the women's names started with a K. Kathleen, Kelsey, and Kelly. So congratulations to the Ks. On the men's side, Matt Thompson, 19:07, Jason Lance, 20:35, and Scott Greger, 21:42. So super. And I don't know much. What do you know much about the race? Like, is it
rugged footing? Lots
like,
of elevation.
Is there? Okay,
yeah.
so that's good times for the men.
Yeah, good times.
I compare a lot to like a Wasatch 100 because that's one I run. Right. So I'm like 19. That's still pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Nothing I would ever do. And then you've got some races,
so,
right?
Well, I just have one. You know, I just looked at one, and
that's
that was
all right.
Cruel Jewel.
Yep.
Yeah, Cruel Jewel happened, and it was on my radar because I knew people in it, and the women's winner was someone named Lee Connor, and I ran a fair bit of the Mountain Masochist 50 miler in Virginia with Lee, and she, you know, if she hears this, she may not remember it. I don't know, maybe 2011, 12, I don't know, long time ago.
Yeah.
And I've never run with someone who can run so fast and still keep talking.
Really?
She is a beast.
Really?
Yeah, she's really strong. And we just keep crossing paths, although we haven't really reconnected again. She ran Western States the year I did, and I mean, she is...
Is she from back east?
She's legit. I think she's from the Midwest.
Okay.
I think Ohio or something, maybe Iowa. I don't know. I really don't
know. And where's
know.
Cruel Jewel?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you would know that.
I mean, I don't know exactly where it is.
You know a state?
I think it's Georgia, isn't it?
Okay. I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Listen,
I should know.
I'm only like, this is like...
Hey, you brought it up.
I did. It is true. I do have more, though. So I did do some homework.
Yeah.
So the men's winner was Andy Pearson, 24:19.
Okay.
So 100-miler, 24:19, you know, that's a winner. And to add some perspective to that, that's the third fastest time there.
On that course. Now, is it Cruel Jewel or Massanutten that's a Hard Rock qualifier?
I think Massanutten. No, Cruel Jewel is a Hard Rock qualifier.
Okay.
And now I should know this too because I've done Hard Rock and qualified for it, but I think Massanutten as well.
Okay.
I think that would be the two, but Cruel Jewel is, and you know, local boy Phil Lowry.
Yep.
You know, he's talking.
Done a lot.
Says, done a lot. And when he comes out and says that was the hardest race I've ever done, you kind of go,
he did say that.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he posted that on Facebook this week, and you kind of have to step back and go, okay.
Well, because he's done a 200, he's done lots of hundreds.
Yeah.
You know.
And when the finisher or the winner is 24:19, and that's the third fastest time.
Yeah. Behind
Carl Meltzer and Nicodemus Holland.
A couple people you may have heard of.
Some people that you've heard of, or should have heard of. And if you haven't, then go do a little homework because one's a Barkley finisher and the other is a legend, and you pick which one. Yeah, they're both pretty.
Wow, that's pretty.
So that's a respectable win in 24 hours. This is a tough race,
man.
And I want to do it so bad, and not just because it's rugged.
Yeah.
But the buckle is
huge. Yeah, Phil posted a photo. We were just talking about it.
Yeah.
It's the size of a hubcap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks good.
It looks awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have a belt that's strong enough to hold it up.
What's a strong leather?
I don't know. Yeah. It needs to be a thick leather. In fact, speaking of that, and I know this is a total digression, so
we never do that on the podcast.
Because anyway, I think you guys should have belts. I think you should find a leatherwork company and have belts in your store. I have
like some TrailManners belt?
Yeah, with some kind of TrailManners stamp. A little bit better than what I did when I was at scout camp.
Okay.
You know, so maybe, the letters should line
now,
up.
When you say it's nice stamp and it's a belt,
or whatever,
you call it a tramp stamp belt? I mean,
it could be on the back. Say TrailManners on the back.
Yeah. Paper up, go get it.
Oh, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. I have these buckles. They are sitting in my office because I love to brag.
Yeah.
And they don't have a belt on them.
Well,
Only one of them has a belt.
And the funny thing is, and I don't look extremely hard, but I do at times, it's hard to find belts anymore that you can exchange a buckle.
Yeah.
Right? Because usually they're riveted on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and so I've gone to a couple of cowboy stores. In Utah, we have a few. Smith & Edwards and IFA and these little farmer cowboy stores, and even there, they're hard to find.
Yeah.
I'd think, wow, there's, cowboys have the big buckles, so it seems like you'd find them there more. But they're harder to find than I thought.
I have one belt for my 100-mile buckles that I can do that, and I found it at some kind of craft fair.
Wow.
Where a leather maker.
Okay.
So. And
you were there because you were looking to get some bedazzling gear and just came across the belt.
I was playing a jester. It was kind of a medieval. It's a thing. I mean, you wouldn't understand. Yeah. Listen, don't judge me.
Too late for that.
But I think that'd be. I don't know. You'll have to see if people respond, but I think it'd be a great thing. I'd love to have a TrailManners belt.
Well, our store's almost empty.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Find somebody that, will make these belts. And
well, if we could sell the remaining hats, people, that could happen because we need to sell those hats, and that would be, anyway.
Hats are important. It's turning into summertime, and, it's nice
you
time
need
to have
them. We have the visor you wore on the run tonight, and
yeah.
I wore last night.
Yeah.
$10 on the website right now.
Oh my gosh!
Right? There's only 10 left, but $10 for a Boko visor.
If I had just waited,
I
could have bought it for $10 now.
Don't say
wait,
that.
no, that's the wrong attitude. No, I'm not helping.
It's more like I should stock up just because then there's only 40 something in the world. Right?
Well, I don't need to. I mean, I don't need to stock up because that visor I've had for 2 years now, and it's still got its elastic. It still works perfect.
Yeah, they make good stuff.
So
sure.
it's solid. And
craftsmanship.
And it looks sexy.
It does. It really does.
Especially when I wear it around my neck as opposed to on my head.
And it flops.
In your video that you were, the video tonight. Yeah.
No, it looks good. It looks good.
Anyway.
And so that's kind of. Do you have any more races?
No.
Okay, so we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next section of the show, I'm going to talk about Bellingham a little bit, and this is not going to be. So here's the fun part, and you've said this a couple times. We've run twice so far, 2 days in a row, and I'm just like a kid at Disneyland, right? Because this is my type of running, my type of place that I jive into. And you keep saying, I just love showing. It's like your home turf. You've been on it multiple times. It's fun to show somebody and see their response. Because we get that in Utah. Like me and Jill have people come up, even on 22nd Street. Something for us, it's kind of like, okay, we've done this before. But to see people's reaction.
It feels new.
Mm-hmm.
So is it like that for you in Utah? Because for me, you're here and I'm showing it, and I get giddy on the trails that the first time I ran on, I was giddy. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yep. No, that's how it is there. Yeah. So when you were saying that, I kind of was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously a different terrain. And tonight we actually ran with Chandler, a friend of yours, and he was from Texas. And I can't imagine, coming from Utah, I've seen, and I've run, in the Silverton area. I've run, in a lot of beautiful places. But I can't imagine him, like he said, I moved up from Texas, and he, just his
total,
just blown away by multiple levels. But I couldn't imagine just that type of change,
that kind of shift in scenery.
Because my shift, I still get the green. I've been, like I said, Uenas and Wind Rivers and. Some beautiful wooded green places, but this is just on a different level, right?
It's a different kind of green, and right now it's fairly dry. We haven't had rain for a couple of weeks, so it's not even as green and vibrant as it can be.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine for him coming from Texas to here.
When he said, I'm North Texas, I'm like, wow, this is an eye opener.
When we first started running, we run with the All Paces group, like every week with one of the local running stores, Fairhaven Running. I think it's Fairhaven Runners and Walkers.
Yep,
maybe.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. He was telling me about his first run, and he went up Pine and Cedar, which we're going to do in 2 days.
Okay.
And it's a stout climb, but it's so green and lush. And he said, I couldn't run. Not because it was so steep, but because I kept stopping and just going, oh my gosh, what is this place? Oh my gosh.
Yep.
And every turn it's like, whoa, that's cool. Whoa, that's cool.
And that's the hard part because I did that yesterday. You and Jen took me to Oyster Dome and Lily Lake and back over there. And it was the same thing. It's like and it's the saddest part because the photos and the videos don't do it justice. And we hit a spot today on the run. We were on Galbraith Mountain, and we hit this spot that was normally a waterfall, but like Jeff said, we're raining a couple weeks, but it's still like one of the most incredible things I've seen. And I took video,
Yeah.
And I even fell taking the video.
Oh, that was so funny.
If you want to go on the website or the Facebook, you'll see it.
Yeah, I'm the one out on the tree where if a fall is dangerous, and
you're gonna hate it. And I'm just
and
like,
you almost fall down the same cliff.
But it doesn't do it. Like I'm watching them, like it's cool. It's still amazing.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't do depth and height and the biggest thing. And I've said this on both runs is the smell. Like I was prepared for the color. I was prepared to see what I'm calling the ocean, people. And I know it's not technically, I guess technically it is the ocean, but it's got different names. I was prepared for all that.
I think it's the Samish Sea now, or
it's the
Salish Sea.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's the ocean.
Yeah.
Potato.
It's salt water.
It's salt water coming from the ocean. It just passed by a
couple islands.
Yeah, it just got some island juice on it. But the smells is what keeps getting me. It's like I just love those smells.
And it changes. It's not just one smell. It's pine trees for a minute, and then it's cedar dust. It's cedar bark, and then it's fragrant flowers and
ferns, and it's amazing.
Yeah,
and that's something I was not even. It wasn't even in my wheelhouse getting here. So I mean that's incredible. And I'm gonna go down. I got my. I'm a young lad, but I got these little reader's glasses I'm throwing on for a minute.
Those are pretty sharp.
They are pretty sharp.
But you are wearing them well.
They're crooked.
The end of your nose and crooked.
And they're $1.25 at Smith's in North Ogden.
High quality. So
here's what I want to hear from people. I like interaction on the show, and people don't do it nearly enough to my liking on Facebook. But I want you to post on Singletrack Session 90. One of the things I'm digging up here is the trail names. They're just different, right? I mean, where I'm at, we've got like Icebox and Indian and Lewis Peak and Bonneville Shoreline and, Green Pond. And we have these trail names, which are cool, right?
Yep.
I mean, they're cool names. But up here, it's like a different level. You've got Max's Shortcut. Here's one, Rock and Roll, Mole Trap, Ewok Village, Cleavage, Arsenio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like Goldilocks, Mama Bear, Baby Bear, Lost Soul, Kung Fu Theater is the name of this trail, right? Kung Fu Theater.
How about the name of the trail that had the spectacular view of Mount Baker today?
Oh, Space Wolf.
I took
a picture of that.
Right.
There was Irish Death.
Irish Death.
Irish Death, and it had like a black diamond, like if you're like a skier,
And on Galbraith, every trailhead or the start of every trail has a very nice, unique sign.
Oh, that one that we just
and a brand new one. There's a brand new one on Pump Track. So all you locals here, go check out the brand new, beautiful mosaic sign that somebody made for Pump Track.
And that concrete amazing. They put the post in was still wet.
Yeah,
that's how new it was.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
There's Snack Shack, Naughty Nelly, Scorpion Evolution. I mean, these are unemployment line. We ran on that.
Yeah. Well, we ran past it.
Yeah. Irish Death. Here we go. Here's where we kind of ran today.
We ran a little bit of this one over here. Whoopsie Woodle.
There's one. That was one of my favorites. There's one called the SH. There's an asterisk T. So I'm guessing it's supposed to be called the shit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Mullet. This one. Bottle opener.
Yeah.
Cabin. Cougar. Here to there. That's a good name for a trail. Cheech and Chong's Wild Ride. Pony Express. So these are just
and it's funny because Galbraith is it's a compact area, so these trails are not far from each other.
Oh yeah.
But those are a lot of the south side of Galbraith, and it's funny how people either come into Galbraith from the north side or the south side, and so that's a little separate. And so you'll have people here in town, and they're like, no, I'm much more of the Family Fun Center and Cedar Dust and all of these, and Mama Bear and Baby Bear and all these the
northern
trails
side.
On the north side. So I have to mention those because if I don't, I think Allie will probably, who's was running down at Zion with us a couple of weeks ago. She'll probably be like, "Why didn't you mention any of the north trails?"
Well, I said Mama Bear and Baby Bear.
Oh, good.
So I tried to. My readings are not good. And if you see this map, it's the Galbraith Mountain Trails map. It's just spaghetti.
It is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's trails I have a tour guide, Jeff, but we were talking as we headed over to Fred Meyer so I could grab some Pacific Northwest and other beverage. I just said and this is what's confusing. So there's these little maps and there's so many trails. Like I could get lost with the map, and you were even saying they change, like the trails change so much. Like even if you had a map, it could be wrong. at some point.
If there's logging and they have to reroute because of the logging, the trail will change a little bit or a lot, but it always comes right back. And the mountain biking community is just fantastic about making and maintaining these trails that are just in spectacular shape.
And let me say this, I'd be bad not to say. So we ran across, let's say, 12 to 20 mountain bikers tonight.
Yeah.
Different groups. It wasn't like together. There's a bunch of different groups. All of them were extremely nice.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We stepped out of the way a few times. There were some that stopped for us. Even the ones that we could pass either direction were super nice. So I got to tip my hat to that, because we do talk about that on the show a little bit. I know some locations and there's been run-ins, but what I witnessed tonight on Galbraith was pretty awesome. And the cool thing about Galbraith, the way it's set up, and correct me if I'm wrong because I'm new here, I'm a rookie, Galbraith Mountain's kind of this mound, right? It's kind of this mound in the middle of this, I don't want to say town, but outside of town.
Yeah.
So if you go up one way and you go down the wrong trail, you could be on the completely other side of this mound where you need to be pretty easily.
Very easily.
And so that's
I have done it.
Yeah, and you were saying that. You were on a long run, right? And you kind of went down the wrong side and were like, oh, no.
I ran on the mountain behind Galbraith and came back and up and over Galbraith, and I thought I was on a trail that was going to connect with something called Kaiser, which is this kind of cross-country trail that connects with the south side, but I missed the junction, and I ended up going so here I am thinking I'm close to the south side, and I'm on the north side, and when I come up to a sign, finally, and it was a foggy day, so, you can see 10 feet kind of thing. When I finally find a sign that says Mama Bear or Baby Bear or one of these northern trails, there's a lot of cursing when you're 24 miles in and you realize you've got about 4 miles to get to your car.
And on top of that, you have to go straight up to go over, or around, and around is going to take you.
Yeah, around. Yeah, you can. I mean, if you can connect with the roads are relatively straight or straightforward, but they don't go north south. It's not like there's too many ways to just kind of go straight there.
Yeah.
If you take the trails, they're mountain bike trails. They're single track. They've got lots of turns and berms and nothing straight.
Yep.
And that's what made today's run so fun.
Oh, yeah.
We're coming down 3 pigs. Straw, wood, and brick. I don't know. All 3 together are just called the 3 pigs. And we're running down those, and they're just these smooth, rolling single tracks that just have these beautiful turns, and it's just so fun to run down and run through there. It's an amazing place to run. And
the people that have made these trails and keep up, and that's a lot of places have it where if it's a certain trail, people adopt it and they're in charge of it and they take care of it. But the trails were immaculate. They weren't like overcut to where it's like this big. It was like single track.
Yeah,
and it was just lush. It was unreal. It was crazy, and it's going to be hard to go back home to like 90 degrees, rattlesnakes, and all the other creepy crawlies. Because this is what I love about Bellingham. If you see a stick, it's a stick.
It's a stick.
If you see a metal cable, it's a metal cable. In Utah, when you see a stick, it could be a snake.
Yeah.
If you can see anything, it could be a snake. Here it's like, there's a stick. Oh, that's a stick.
Yeah,
so I really appreciate that about Bellingham, for sure.
I have lost that startle reflex that makes me jump really high when I see them.
And I'm worried about that when I go home. I'll be like running going, it's just a cable. That's not a cable.
Yeah, I should be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the cables are weird because, it is there's a lot of trails on active logging, and I think some of the older logging, they would just abandon these cables if they got, snagged or marred up or.
And these are those big, thick metal. These are the real deal cables.
1 to 2 inch steel cable.
Braided cables.
And you just come across a trail and they're just on the trail all over.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, yesterday at Oyster Dome, we
saw quite a few.
Half a dozen probably.
Yeah, quite a few.
Over the course of 5 miles, so. Yeah.
Because that's what I asked Jeff. We were driving up. He came down, picked me up in Seattle, graciously in the traffic.
Well, that was a nightmare.
Yeah, that was fun in the traffic.
But I guess that's typical Seattle traffic.
Yeah,
so.
I'm done with that already. Taking Amtrak back to Seattle to take a flight out, so Jeff doesn't have to drive 4 hours.
Well, I told him I wouldn't.
Yeah, he said, no, you have to run back.
Sorry. You're going to have to move here.
Amtrak's running. But so we're driving up, and I said, "Okay, what do you got? What do I got to be on the lookout for? Like, what's your predators? You got ticks? You got this? You got that?" And then it came to the subject of mountain lions, right? Because I'm like, Okay, I don't worry about them at home. I know we have them, but so I'm in Seattle. I fly into town, and all over the news, a mountain lion attacked 2 mountain bikers like 20 minutes outside of downtown.
Road bikers. They were on road bikes.
Okay, 20 minutes.
It wasn't even mountain bikes.
20 minutes outside of Seattle, basically in the Cascade Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the first, I was reading a thing today, the first attack in 94 years. 94 years, so your odds were pretty bad. But I guess they said the mountain lion was really underweight, is what the article said, which makes sense because, freaks me out. They hit this mountain lion with a bike.
Yeah, they're holding up their bikes and they attack. And
I'm not trying to make fun of this, but I'm trying to say they're hitting it with a bike. They're not hitting with a stick. They're not hitting with a rock. It is an actual bike.
Yeah, and then the first of the 2 that was attacked and bit on the head is the one that got away.
Yep.
It's
Well, and I read a thing that when
crazy.
they finally got help up there, because it took so a while, the person didn't know exactly where they were, but luckily they had a truck that came by that knew where they were at, that kind of radioed, had a hard time getting a signal in, but it was almost 30 minutes to an hour, something like that, when the initial call came in till Department of Wildlife got there, or rescue or something. And when they came up on it, they said the mountain lion was standing on top of the one that it killed, and they had to shoot a gun to get it off that person. It was just standing on top of them. And they ended up tracking. They brought dogs in, tracked it, put it down. Now they're going to study it, check it out. But that freaks me out.
Me too. And there are a few things that freak me out. Swimming in open ocean water and thinking about all the things that are all those miles underneath me. That's one. Avalanches in the mountain are 2, and cougars. Yeah, because they're crafty little buggers, and it was really funny because a week ago I was out in the Methow Valley. So a week before, and we didn't really mention James Varner's race, the Sun Mountain 50K and 25K, which happened this last weekend, and a lot of people from Bellingham were out there running, which is beautiful. But I was out there. I did my own little 50K the weekend before because I was out there for James Varner's Rendezvous Music Festival, which, by the way, and I know I'm really bad with digressions. My students, they get very used to this.
They understand that?
Yeah. So bear with me. It's a fantastic experience. Yeah. It was so amazing. Wow. So there's one of the bands that he had come, this guy named Joshua James. He's from Utah. Huh. And he was a rock climber in an earlier life or before he became a musician and family man. So I desperately wanted to talk to him after and just say, hey, where have you been climbing? Where were you climbing? Anyway. And I thought that could work because this concert was right on a lake. That Rendezvous Music Festival. If you get a chance to go next year, go. It was fantastic. It was so intimate and so close. I was right up next to the stage. So if somebody tells Joshua James about this, I was the dude that was standing right in front of him, grinning ear to ear, and probably moving the white man dance at the beginning, just kind of swaying more than really dancing. But it was so cool to be that close to this just really dynamic and amazing musician.
Well, and it's a James Varner event. We talked about that. And
that's the thing. It's like
first class.
We could talk about the Sun Mountain race, but it's a lottery, and it fills up every year. And his races are as fantastic. And this music festival was every bit as well planned out. And it was so fun, and I volunteered and helped check people in for the camping, and then you get in for half price. It was so worth it. It's spectacular.
James, we've had him on the show, but he's just an amazing guy, too, on top of it. So it's always fun. In fact, I'm a little bummed because Candace Burt, she lives in Leavenworth, I believe.
Yep. Yeah.
She's in France. Because I thought, coming up here, that's one of my bucket list people to get on the show. Yeah. So I was a little bummed that she was not in town.
That's too bad.
So listeners, you can pass that along to Candace.
There you go.
TrailManners is desperately trying to get her on the show.
So I was out there, and I'm running around Sun Mountain, and the subject of that comes up with my dad, and he says, "Oh, you don't need to worry about cougars. They're out there, and you probably ran by some. We have lots of cougar around here." We've had a few runners who've been stalked by them. But you don't need to worry, because it's been 94 years since the last person was killed by them. And it was not far from here, and it was a little boy who'd been left out in his yard, and a hungry cougar came and took this boy, which is terribly sad, but it's like almost 100 years ago. And so I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, well, maybe I don't need to worry. And then
like less than a week later,
this happens.
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
I have another uncle, really kind of my inspiration for getting into ultra running. And I don't know if he still uses it. For a while, he had a hat where he had a little, the flaps on the back. He created a face, so much like a moth or a butterfly.
Okay.
It looked like you had a face behind you, because cougars like to attack from the back. You know, they like to stalk you and then sneak up on you. So
that's a good idea.
Yeah, cougars, avalanches,
swimming in the ocean. I know what you're
and
afraid
mosquitoes.
of. I know what you're afraid of.
I hate mosquitoes.
Yeah, mosquitoes. You got bit by one yesterday, but it hasn't been.
Well, it landed on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that goes back to the things you need to worry about here.
Nothing.
Yeah, cougars maybe.
I'm getting that because I went down today to Fairhaven, and I went to a Fairhaven pokey place. The pokey at Fairhaven, pokey off Harris Avenue or Street, whatever it is incredible. I will absolutely 100% have dreams about that restaurant tonight. That's how good the pokey was there. I had ginger ahi and limu, I think it's limu ahi, on a bed of rice, and they put some green seasoning on their rice that I don't know. I didn't ask what it was because I don't care. Right? It's going to be good. It was amazing. It was, and they charge you by the weight, so you can. They had salmon, they had squid, they had tofu for the tofu people. They had just all kinds of fish, right, or fish products, and you just tell them how much and what you want, and then it's a weight-based thing. So it's not like they're like, oh, it's $10. I can give you 4 pieces of pokey and this. It's like, how much you want? You want some more? I'm like, pile
exactly
it on,
how much
baby.
You're gonna get because,
pile it on, and then you pay for it. It's like the pokey's like $20-something a pound, right? Something like that. Something crazy. But my bowl wasn't nearly that much. But it's so good.
Could have been.
Oh, it could have been easy. Yeah. I almost went back for seconds just because I'm like, man, that was so good.
That's awesome.
So, so that's good. Went to a coffee shop that you and Jen told me to go to, Woods, right?
Yeah, Woods Coffee.
Right on, what's the...
Oh, it's Boulevard Park.
Park.
Yeah, right along, beautiful. In the middle of Boulevard Park, overlooking the Bellingham Bay.
Yeah, it was beautiful. A lot of fun.
Out to Lummi Island. And
whoever the girl was that made my coffee, it was her last day, so I know you don't listen to the show, but good luck, whatever you're doing. It was a good coffee that I had. I had a dirty chai. And then I did my part at Bellingham. I went out on the pier thing, or little walkway, and sat down for a little while, and ended up coming back with like a couple extra cups that were just people forgot to take with them to throw in the garbage.
I'm sure they forgot.
I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. But I looked like this thirsty dude. I'm walking back with like 4 cups.
You have an issue.
You have issues. Like, oh, this guy's got some problems.
Some coffee
He's
problems.
Jittery. But yeah, so it's really cool. I've only been here 2 days, like a day and a half. Let's be honest. Today was like a full day. Yeah, it's incredible, and I haven't even scratched the surface, and that's the scary part, right?
No, the only sad part, so far the only sad part is it hasn't rained since you've been here.
Yeah,
we've had
just rain.
Gorgeous. For us, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it's been amazing weather, like blue. This morning it was blue overcast, skies. And it kind of blew off, so we saw blue skies last night on Oyster Dome. Amazing views up there. Sunset was rocking. We got to see some of that. Looked like the woods were on fire.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's right.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Come down off of Oyster Dome, get into the trees, and the red sunset is just making the trees look like they're on fire. Yeah. Oh, that was spectacular.
That was really nice. So Bellingham's been extremely good to me, and Seattle was good to me.
And we've only started. We haven't even hit the Chuckanuts yet.
I know, isn't that crazy?
So our big run's going to be in the Chuckanuts, and we've got log crossings, we've got waterfalls, we've got views of the bay, we've got views of Mount Baker.
Can we see the pokey shop from the trail?
I don't know.
I'll have to see if they'll hoist a flag up so I can see them from far away.
Oh, yes. I think I do know an overlook that I think we might be able to.
There we go. Pokey heaven, man. I want to be an investor in this store.
It's so funny.
They were hiring. Come work for them.
Every time you say that, I think of my, the college students where I see him playing Pokemon. So you say that, and I'm like, Pokey. Oh, no, that's not what
you
mean.
And there's people I've talked to that, before I've had Pokey, before I've come up here, and I say, oh, I love Pokey. What do you mean Pokey? What's that?
Yeah.
And I explain it's just basically cubes of raw fish, and this location, you can put it on, like, some salad. They have, like, what is it, kimchi cabbage, I think.
Ooh,
they
I
have
haven't
that
had
you
kimchi
can put
in
on.
a long time.
They have all kinds of stuff, so my hat's off to them. They might be my lunch stop tomorrow, too.
So, when it comes to the trails and all the outdoor stuff, I'm a pretty good host, I think.
Oh, yeah,
We're doing
day and a half in, I'm psyched.
Knocking it out of the park so far. But when it comes to restaurants, places to go in town, yeah, I can show you a burger shop.
I rolled the dice on the poke shop, but I saw people going in a line,
gold.
So I'm like, this has got to be pretty good, because there's a lot of places to eat down there, and there's a line. I'm like, this must be pretty, and it's pokey. I'm like, hey, how bad can it be? Which you could easily get sick.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Yeah, but it wasn't. I feel fantastic.
I got pokey at a gas station. I'm still alive. It's
Flying
fine.
J Pokey is legit with their boiled eggs. It's pretty good. Flying J Pokey, their boiled eggs, some gizzards. Oh man, that's like
after a week of hospital, I felt like gold.
Yeah, once I got out, it was so good. But I also had a good time in Seattle because I went to a cheese place which lit up my Facebook account. I didn't realize how amazing this cheese place was. In fact, Allie's one. I took a picture of it, and I got like 2 blocks away, and I see a post. She's like, "Best mac and cheese on the planet." I'm like, "Hold the phone." Hold the phone. I walked back.
I've already left,
I know,
but I'm going right back.
It was a long line, too, so I waited, and I'm like, this must be good. So I did that, and I got some cheese curds because it's Aric Manning here on this end of the microphone.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, that place is the best. That place is the best. And I really wish I would have checked it more because someone told me to go to this pastry shop, and I didn't do that, which I regret because I have no problem eating food that's not good for me. But then I went to the Space Needle. I was doing Mr. Taurus. Went to Space Needle and had Sea Pine IPA.
Yeah, you went to the top of the Space Needle.
No.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't.
Because you looked at the price.
No, it was like $24. And I'm like, it's a good view. But,
I guess that's okay.
But it was because I didn't know how much time I'd need.
Okay.
Right? And there was a ton of people there.
It's busy.
I couldn't believe how busy it was for a Wednesday afternoon. I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah. And so I did all the touristy stuff. Took Uber a bunch of times.
You did the monorail.
I did the monorail.
Which every time I say monorail, I think of the Simpsons episode where, it's early in the run of Simpsons and they, monorail. Anyway,
I think it's Disneyland.
There's maybe one person out there listening to this that knows what I'm talking about.
I don't watch the Simpsons.
And everybody else is like you going, man, you are...
Where's Joel?
What is your problem? Yeah, where's Joel?
Where's Joel?
Oh, my gosh, I'm glad Joel's going to be back.
It's been a great trip, though. I'm really looking forward to the next few days for sure. And then, again, taking Amtrak. I could buy my ticket, though, if I don't sell out. But, taking Amtrak back into town, jumping on a flight, and headed back to Rattlesnakes and Heat. So what can go wrong? And I'm having for listeners out there, I got a Hopwork Urban Brewery, so Hub, Ferocious Citrus IPA, which I'm going to give a thumbs up. Excellent. I was nervous. I like to try new stuff. So I'll try a few more, so I'll give that a thumbs up. So, and then talking about races, I know you've listened to the show a little bit, but have you ever been to the Red Desert in Wyoming? Because you've been everywhere.
I never have.
Okay.
No.
Because you just are a traveler.
Yeah.
You've been everywhere.
Done a lot in Wyoming, but mostly rock climbing stuff.
And I think there's rock climbing out where this area is, if I remember right as well. The gentleman told me there's some places out near there. But it's outside Rock Springs, Wyoming. It's Run the Red, and we're kind of talking to them about talking up them this month. So you can check them out at Facebook at Run the Red Desert. It's not dessert, it's desert. Or we'll have the link in the show notes to the race. But it's Saturday, June 2nd. There's a 50K, 23K, and a 5K. It's in Wyoming's Red Desert. And I'll say it again, people. If you haven't had a chance, hit the link, head over, and check out the video. The video on their page is amazing because I'm not a sand guy. Like, I'm not a huge fan. And I guess I'm getting more tolerant of, like, an ocean beach sand because sometimes it's wetter, but the fine red sand.
Oh gosh, I love that.
See, and but I'm not. But I've seen this race, the video, and I'm like, I could do this. Like, this would be cool. They have camping at the start-finish line, or you can stay in town. It's like 25 miles from the race. But you start the race, you run off this huge sand dune, and that's how the race starts. You just kind of bolt down this big old sand dune. But it's on June 2nd. It's National Trails Day. And the cool thing about it, which is something we're always excited about when we talk about different things, this is for the advocacy of the Red Desert, because we know so much land is getting eaten alive by growth and silliness, I guess. And so they're doing this race to help raise awareness, say, hey, leave the Red Desert alone. It's beautiful. We don't need, drilling, or you don't need to take it. So it's, kicked off the same time to celebrate the Wilderness Act. The inaugural race was in 2014. But it's really cool. Recommend go checking it out. I know this year some people might have races already. If you don't, they have a race for everybody. Like I said, there's a 50K, 23K, and a 5K. So
there's a race for everybody.
It really is.
Yeah.
So, and it's a cool experience. Gabe Joy is a friend of ours. He's actually the co-race director, I believe, or helping with the event. So it's going to be a good race anyway. And I say that because I've never done it yet. But Gabe's a good guy. And the gentleman I talked to, the race director, is just an awesome guy. They're doing it for the right reason. So it's good to support them. If you have nothing else to do that weekend, head out, check it out. Just right outside of Rock Springs. So.
If you haven't run in that red desert, red dirt, oh gosh,
you like it.
It's so funny because here I live
in the lush green,
and I just pine for, pun intended, pine for those desert sandy trails
and I don't, but this actually looking at it would be one I would try. Cool. It really would be.
Yeah, it sounds good.
And then we're going to do Woody Footies. It was Joel's week, and he messaged me the winner. So this is Joel's, and I'm saying that, not that it's not a good photo to the gentleman that got it, so there's a part of it. There are so many good ones. We talked about this earlier today. Different countries again.
I did my homework.
You did. You did a
I
good
went
job.
Through them all.
You did a good job. I think you're more prepared than Joel comes to the table.
But so if anyone from work is listening, I wasn't doing this on my work computer.
Yeah, it wasn't on the work
But I didn't
computer.
Look at all. I don't know. There was like 30 or 40. There was a lot.
There was, and
they were good from all over the world.
And I love seeing people that are new to posting, because there's some names I've never seen post before, and that really, I think, is super cool, because it's like, I don't know if you're a new listener or just decided to post something, but there's so many good ones. Like I said, different countries. I know we talked about the one D. Wolf posted where it's kind of framed by the arch.
That was
so awesome.
That arch that I want to call colon. Just because it's, like your colon, but
just like your colonnade.
Just colonnade arch. Like coming out of your colon. No, this is not going the way I want it to.
What are some of the ones you have a little list of the ones you like?
I did. I loved the Bernheisel effect with the interlocking Swiss Alps.
Yep.
That was fantastic. And Tommy Barlow's Omu, or I don't know how to say it, Omu Peak.
Yeah, he's over.
OMU.
He's overseas.
And that was some race there. And Jed Malmberg.
Oh yeah,
maybe.
And I'm gonna. So you know how you kind of split off like earlier in the show and went back.
Yeah.
I would be. I have this down later on, but so I was in Seattle and I get this Facebook message saying, "Hey, I'm in Seattle. Want to go for a run or dinner?" And I'm like, "What?" It's Jed Malmberg. He lives in Ogden on 22nd Street, and we've met briefly a couple times.
Yeah.
He came, picked me up at the hotel, and we went out to a place and had probably the best ramen bowl, which I love ramen bowls as well.
Ramen bowl's good.
The best one I've ever had. The broth in this thing was unmatched.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if I'll have one as good, but it's super cool because we live in Ogden, both of us.
Yeah.
And we're in Seattle.
All of a sudden you're both in Seattle.
Yeah, so we go out to dinner, have a great dinner, and then I had a bubble tea.
A what?
They're called bubble teas. So I guess it's like a tea, I don't know how they do it. I'm not even going to pretend.
Carbonation or?
No, it's not carbonated. They do something to it. They have a plastic cup, whatever size you want, and they put some ice in it, and then you pick these little. They look like salmon eggs when you go fishing, except bigger. And there's stuff inside like a salmon egg, but they have flavored ones. Or they have these things. I got a lychee things, like gummies, and they put those in, and then they put whatever flavor you pick. It was kind of almost like a little fruit smoothie. I had a mango, because I'm a mango dude. And then they supercharge it somehow, mix it or something, and they have a cellophane wrapper on top, and then you poke your straw right through the plastic. But as you're drinking it, these little bubbles come up your straw, and you like pop them in your mouth. So anyway, it was pretty good.
All right.
It wasn't bad.
Well, you say that, and so he's from Ogden?
Yeah.
Well, his picture's from Yosemite Falls.
Yeah, he's all over the place.
And it was crushing it. It was, feet hanging out and the falls right below him. That was cool.
Well, I was talking to him for his job. He travels like 2 days every single week, and his territory is like Spokane. He's got Northern California. He's got Oregon, Washington. He gets to experience a lot of cool stuff.
So he's like you. He's traveling right. He's doing it right.
Well, right now I'm traveling right.
Yeah, you are.
It's been a long time since I've done this, but yeah. So Jed, I know you listen to the podcast, but I appreciate the invite and let me experience these cool places. It was awesome. It was super fun. So I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. So go ahead. I'll let you go back.
Oh, and then I just had two others that I had kind of pointed out. I really liked Natalie Sheffield's Ribbon Falls.
Yeah.
That was really spectacular. What a pretty view. And a shout out to Evelyn. Oh boy, I can't even read my own writing.
You got to do it.
I don't know. Smithwood?
There we go.
Is that right?
I don't know.
I can't read my own writing. Sorry, Evelyn. For Canaryville Falls, which is down just south of Cedar City. So that's my old stomping ground, and love taking my family out to Canaryville Falls.
Yeah, there's some really good ones, though. I'm digging it. I love when people post. Yeah. It's the time of year where people are getting out, different locations. I get to see places I've never seen before, and I said it yesterday. Bellingham is not going to win any more contests because it's unfair.
We have an unfair advantage. Now you see why. Now I'm not doing anything when for the weeks where I'm posting things. I'm just they're just pictures from my run.
It's not even.
I just have an unfair advantage
because they're the ones I always gravitate towards, like Allie and you, and there's a few others in Bellingham that post, and I'm like, I got to get there. Now I'm here, and I'm looking around going, no, you could drop your camera and take a picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd take a butt picture, and I posted that.
Did you see the tree and the, So, no, Bellingham, you're still in.
And then there was one other person that I was going to, Matt Van Horns. I really like Matt Van Horns, too. That's not the one I was going to mention. I was going to say that there was some. So I see a name with someone, but the picture was in Rocky Mountain National Park, and it didn't compute because this particular person I was always posting at Lake Blanchard.
Yep.
Blanchard? Blanche.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Megan.
Mrs. Martinez.
She was all over the place.
It was good to see you all over. And you cannot help. I love that you cannot help but post more than one picture.
Yeah.
You're scrolling through, and all of a sudden, here's another one, one.
I love it.
And I know that feeling because, it's like there are some runs in some places, and Rocky Mountain National Park is one of them, where one picture is not enough.
And that's why
just not enough.
And that's why we love it, because you can post many times as you want, and that's what it's there for. We want to see these places, because not everybody, myself included, can get to these places, so...
But it was unusual to see you somewhere other than that lake.
It really was. Whether
it was frozen or not.
Yeah, that Joel gave you info to.
Yeah.
But this week's winner was picked by Joel again in the Woody Footy contest. And this, again, all the thanks from me goes to the Sign Garage, because they're the one that sponsored this for a whole year. I mean, that's just awesome. And hopefully they'll do it again when we run out of hats. I still have, I'm going to say 15 to 20.
So I got the first one, right?
You know what's
and that
hilarious?
Was July?
No,
it had to be August.
One, and Allie got the second one.
Oh, did she really?
I went back because I have the list. I'm like, that's hilarious. Bellingham won first 2 weeks.
Booyah.
Yeah, so that's a mojo.
But you wouldn't have known that I knew her, so there was no favoritism.
There wasn't. I didn't know.
And I love my hat. If I'm not wearing it, it's displayed prominently in my office.
Somewhere.
Yep.
I see more pictures with people wearing them, so I like that.
That's cool.
But this week's winner goes to Grant Nicoluas, Snow King Mountain in Jackson. So, Grant, just send me your mailing address. We'll get you your Woody Footy hat, compliments of TrailManners, and Joel for picking it. We got 2 Ask TrailManners questions, but before we get into that, this week's Strava Week distance goes to Jake Jackson, 101.2, run time Dan Hawk, 19 hours, 57 minutes, and climbing Darcy Boyack, 29,226.
Who are these people and where are they? I really need to start stalking that.
I think today, if you check my Strava, today my climb was probably like 26,000. So
yeah, it was
close.
It was
a big day.
Yeah.
I was hoofing it. We have a couple really good Ask TrailManners questions. So, and Jeff he hasn't got to see these yet. And I usually send them to Joel first.
Okay.
Because I want to put you on the spot. These
Fair
are
enough.
good. These are good ones though. So the first one comes in. I'm a novice trail runner, but have decided recently to bag road running and only trail run. And so I'm going to take a side note saying, good for
job.
you.
Yep.
Way to go. Yes.
Yeah.
I enjoy it more, and I enjoy being on the trail. How do I improve my ability to run uphill, and how do I find people to run with? So 2 great questions, and literally
really
questions that keep people out of trail running. I've talked to people that said, I would have trail ran 3 years earlier if, A, I would have been better uphill, I hated walking, and 2, there's more people to run with. So I'll start, give Jeff a little time to marinate. How do you my ability to run uphill? Honestly, by running uphill. That's really not to be silly about it, but it's the only way you're going to get better at it. Power hike, run hill repeats. I know if Joel was here, he'd say, you could do some, weights, to kind of build some, your quads and your booty and everything else to kind of get going. But really, how do you improve is just doing it. And that goes with trail running because it's still different than road downhill. That takes a lot more out of you than people think. But really, to improve your ability to run uphill, it's just doing it, power hiking, and doing hill repeats. And you'll see a lot of times, too, you'll see groups trail running groups, they'll do hill repeats as like a weekly thing or bi-weekly or however they do it. But that's really the best 2 ways I can relay that. And then how do I find people to run with? It depends on where you live. Very good question. There's multiple ways. You can check your local run shops, see if there's any running groups. Facebook is a great way to find people. Depends on where you live, and I'm going to throw out there's the Wranglers in the Utah area, but there's a lot of people on the Wrangler page that aren't in Utah, so you can really look that way. I don't know how some people aren't into Facebook or social media, but that's one way to find it. The other thing is Strava. Find people in your area and maybe hit them up there because what you're going to find is there's more people doing it than you think. And there's more people that are probably your pace or your ability than you think. And it's just a lot of times those group runs can morph into something else. Or even on the TrailManners podcast. You let me know where you're at. We can throw it out there and people can do it. But I see a lot of that on social media. It's like, hey, I'm new to running. This is where I live. Does anybody run this time? This da-da-da. And people are like, oh, I do. And I've been looking for someone to run with. So sometimes just putting it out there, which can be scary. But you definitely want to vet the people that if you don't know them. But if it's a running group or something, you're usually pretty good. I would just say don't, if someone reaches out to you that's one person, I would be eerie on that one.
Offers for you to stay at their house and the lock is on the outside of your bedroom?
Yeah, exactly right.
You did check that door, right?
There's a padlock on the outside. But yeah, I mean, that's my 2 cents, and I'll let Jeff see if he has anything different that he has.
Yeah, it's really hard to follow that up because that's sound advice. I mean, for running uphill, you just got to do it over and over. I find a hill and I do varying distances. Like I have a hill outside of my house and it's a couple 100 yards, 300 yards, and I'll run repeats on it and until I can't. Or it's like embracing the hills, but it's also a matter of trying different inclines, so different steepnesses of hills. So you don't have to run every hill, and that's the beauty of moving from the roads, kudos, by the way, to the trails, is it's okay not to run, and it's really about finding that, and each person is different. You have to find that incline.
The grade.
Where
incline.
the grade, where it becomes more efficient to actually walk.
Mm-hmm.
I did a race in California a few years, well, I guess it's more than a few years ago now, called the Harding Hustle. And it was just basically up a mountain and back down, 50K. And I just set out at a solid power hike. and I did not run a step of the uphill. And I watched all of these guys just chugging up this hill, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm really going to be dead last in this race. And I got to the top, and I felt fresh, and I pounded the downhill and came in, I think, 4th or 5th. I don't know. I'd have to look at my ultra sign-up. But, just passed so many people in the second half of that climb because they had just blown up. So there is a point where power hiking is more efficient and faster than trying to run. So it's really kind of testing that out and really kind of seeing where you're at. But really, hill repeats.
And I think you nailed it. That was definitely the one thing, because you see the quote unquote, we call them elite athletes for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
They'll still walk some steep
they
stuff.
do.
It's not like they can run or want to run everything, because as Jeff mentioned, it's about efficiency.
Yep.
And I did a how to trail run clinic, and we had a Mike Ambrose from Solomon and one of their athletes, Brett Hells, and it was the same thing. He had someone on this certain incline, somebody jogging, and then he power hiked next to him, and he passed him.
Yeah,
power hiking.
Yeah,
and
it was
again,
fun
he
to
wasn't
pass
working
people
as
trying
hard.
to run.
Because when you go uphill, there's techniques. Kind of push off on your toes. Put your hands on your quads. Use it that way. So it takes. There's different ways to do it, but it's totally true. It's just there's certain grades as yourself that I can run that grade.
Yeah.
And there was the ones like, okay, I'll start walking. And it's also as well as the distance and how you want to do it, because sometimes I'll still, there might be a day I want to train hard and I'll run a hill I usually walk, or vice versa. If I'm tired, I'm like, it's okay to walk a hill. It's not the end of the day, and it's efficiency and it's time. So it's just learning what your grade is, if you will, or your incline is, and just kind of finding what you want to do.
Yeah, you do.
And some days you feel better than others, where you're like, I couldn't have ran that yesterday, and today I crushed it.
I said that a couple times today. I'm like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm walking.
Yeah,
and we just turned to a walk.
But see, and that's one of the big things with, like Jeff mentioned, with like road running and trail running. It's totally fine to walk on a trail.
Yeah.
And some people have a harder time relating to that because it doesn't feel right. Hey, I'm a race, I'm running. Why am I walking? But as you get used to it, like Jeff said, it's more efficient, it's better for you, and you'll be fresher at the end. So.
Yeah, and I know the grade. I know the grade where I need to switch from running to walking, and I know the grade where I need to switch to hands on the quads.
Yep.
And
you just learn that over
practice.
time. Yeah, learn that over time.
Just go out and do it.
All right, next one's a good one.
Oh, wait, I didn't finish, though. I have one more thing.
Okay.
So, how do you meet people? There was one other thing I was going to add to that, and that is...
Don't say Tinder.
Never mind. No, I'm just kidding. Sign up for some races. Go and sign up for some races. And if you are not normally, and we talked about this on the podcast when Jim Skaggs and I were on down in Zion. I can't meet people outside of the trails, but I have I just embrace it. And when I'm in a race, I just talk to everybody. If they're close to me, I chat them up.
And generally, if they're close to you in a race, that's your pace.
They're your
right.
They're
so it's like
your
would
ability.
be a good training partner or training individual. So that's a great point.
Outside of running stores and their kind of all paces runs, which is a really big thing here. We had probably 40 people at the Fairhaven Runners all paces race earlier this week. I've met a lot of people that way. But outside of that, sign up for a couple races. You'll go in with no friends, and you'll come out with tons.
Yeah, you really do.
If you are willing to just say hi and be friendly, you'll come out with a lot of friends.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Next Ask TrailManners question. After my first ultra this weekend, it's very possible that I will lose 1 to 3 toenails. Do you have any tips for future ultras? How can I prevent that? This one for me is a difficult one.
Yeah.
And the big reason is I've only lost one in 20-something years. It was a big toe. It was kind of cool. I actually lost it in the ocean in San Diego. That's when it finally decided to leave me for good.
Were you kicking around under the water and it was just loosely hanging on?
You
could feel
it was
you
gone.
Don't even know.
Yeah, I looked down. I'm like, oh, that's pretty. It's gone. But I've only lost one, and I know some people lose them every year, or a lot, I should say. And I know people that have never lost them. And I've talked to a few people, especially after this question came out, because I'm like, I'm not sure on this one. This one had me a little perplexed. But what I've talked to people is a lot of people, like, a lot of it has to do with your shoes. A lot of people are telling me, like, if you wear your shoes too tight, too big, if your foot really slops around, if it's like a lot of downhill stuff, Jim's showing, Jeff's showing me. There's so many J words we keep talking about. But it really depends on, there's different variables, right? And some people like, over time you just get used to it. Like your toenails get used to it over time. And, one person I talked to is like, it doesn't matter what I do, I'm always going to lose toenails. It's just the way it goes because I'm an aggressive runner downhill.
Yep.
So this is a tough one. Like, I don't know if you can 100% prevent it. I think it's one of those things where if you're susceptible to it, it might be something that's just easier than somebody else, right? I say I was a soccer player my whole life. I wore shoes that were too small for me. You wanted your foot just jam-packed in there. And I never lost toenails, and I don't know if my feet adapted to it. So I've only lost one in trail running. And it actually happened because I did kick a great big huge rock at Wasatch that year with that toe. So I think that was really what had to do with it other than just running.
Yep.
So I don't know if there's a scientific / TrailManners-tific reason for that, because I've seen ultra runners, what's his name, Uli, or what's his name, Marshall. He had him surgically removed, and then I've seen other people do that now. I was just
looking him up to make sure that was the right name.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some people he was really prone to it. He did it all the time, so he just I'm going to get him removed, right? And that's the way it goes. So I'm going to let you see what you have to say, because all the people I talked to, because I don't know, I didn't really Google it too much because I didn't want to see the photos, because, pictures are going to pop up, and I'm not a huge feet dude. But, I don't know if you can 100% prevent it either, right? I think so many things can happen, but it's, again, if it's your first ultra and you might lose 1 to 3, it'd be interesting to know if you wear your shoes tight, if they're really loose, what kind of terrain you were on. If there's a lot of downhill, so your toes are
bang
just
your toes a lot
end,
on
or
rocks.
Did you kick rocks? Because
I kicked so many rocks in the last 10 miles of hard rock.
Yeah, I mean, because you get tired.
Gosh,
I'm
so
just the way
tired.
it goes. But your first ultra, 1 to 3 toenails. I don't know all the specifics.
I don't.
So, or you might just be one of those people that is susceptible to it. So that's a tough one to me.
Now, in my household, we have Santa Claus, we have the Easter Bunny, we have the Tooth Fairy, and we have the Toenail Fairy.
Yummy.
And I take full advantage. I am all about getting the money for the toenails when they fall off. So for me, I don't think I'm like the worst, but if I have, and I think it happens more or less in those big, long 100-milers. I can't think that I've had it any other time, but I didn't think I was going to lose any at Hard Rock, and it took almost 6 months for them to finally detach. And it was mostly the toenail coming in underneath that was pushing
it away,
pushing the top one up. But I think I eventually ended up losing 3 toenails that looked totally fine after Hard Rock and felt totally fine, but they just kind of came off. And to me now, it's no big deal. Yeah. It's just like, meh. No big deal. I've got 1 black toenail right now, which I tried to show you, but
I saw it.
And that black
toenail, the birdie toe.
That black toenail was underneath the black toenail that I got from Hard Rock that fell off about 4 months ago, and there was another black toenail underneath.
Oh.
So the new one
was like an Oreo without the filling.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got one that fell off, and this one's probably going to fall off again. And to me, it's no big deal. So I don't know how you get rid of it. I have had loose shoes. I've had shoes that were too tight. Hard Rock, it was definitely that toward the end in those last 5-6 downhill miles, I just was dragging my shuffling too much and just
kicking
everything. Other times it's like you said, it's one distinct blow that's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the only time I've lost one. It's just one. I thought I busted my toe. Felt like it exploded at Wasatch. Yeah. I didn't want to take my sock off. I'm like, I don't want to see it. This is and it happened before Chin Scraper.
Oh my gosh!
Mm-hmm.
So you haven't even finished the first climb.
No, I haven't even finished the first. Chin Scraper was 8 miles in?
8 miles in, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like an explosion because it was so overgrown as you're going in.
I know exactly where. It's by that spring that's up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. There was a big rock, and I just was like,
because it's overhanging, you cannot see what's under it.
The trail, and I just thought, okay, this is not a good situation right now. And it took me about 4 miles to where toe felt like I could start pushing off on it again. And so when I got to, I think it was Upper Big Water, finally, mile 50-something, and we were doing some footwork repair, and I'm like, I don't want to take that sock off. I don't want to see my toe. Took the sock off, looked at my toe, I'm like, that looks pretty normal.
It's normal.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I exaggerated, and then, of course, I didn't because it hurt really bad after. But yeah, that's a great question. And if anybody has any comments, again, we always say on these Ask Trail Manners ones, leave a comment because this is a forum for everybody. We're looking for answers, and there's people out there that are much more educated than I am. So, leave those comments. So, yeah, that's all we have for the special Bellingham on the road Trail Manners single track session. Number 90. Crazy. 90 shows, first time we've been this deep on the road. So that kind of makes me feel bad.
That's cool.
But it's been fun. We got a lot. We'll have single track session 91. We'll have some more Bellingham stories because I'm just beginning. But as always, I think you've been on, and I don't know, I think you've been on more than any other person besides me and Joel.
Really?
At this point. Because I think we did 3 or 4 for Hard Rock. You're down in Zion, and now this one. So I think you've passed Turtle. I think you've passed
Turtle,
Luke and Ty. I think those ones were the those are kind of the ones we have on more.
Well, of any kind of trail running culture or nation that's bigger than the people right around you, this is the one I want to be a part of. So thank you.
We love it. Thank you. That was nice.
And you know what? It's not 10 o'clock. I mean, I think we can still get another run in tonight.
As soon as I'm done with this Hub Ferocious Citrus IPA, it is an Indian Pale Ale with grapefruit because I've kind of been into the citrus ones lately. I'm not going to shy away from.
All right.
But we have a bag of Kettle Peppercini chips over there,
which you introduced me to, and I hate you for it because they're so good.
Brian Clark introduced me to them, so it's
all right. Way to go, Brian.
But so Bellingham, thanks for your time, Jeff. I can't tell you and your family enough. Thanks for everything already. It's only been a day and a half, and I'm like, this is the coolest thing ever for me.
It's so cool here.
But it's amazing.
I mean, it's terrible here. Yeah, nobody should move here.
No one should come up here. But if someone wants to travel up here again and needs a partner to come up, I know a person. And he's talking right this second. No, that's me.
And I know a place you guys can stay.
Well, that's the thing. I said, we're gonna have to get the next trip up here. We're gonna have to get an Airbnb because I'm gonna bring 5 people because this is just incredible.
I'd love to have Jim and Brian and the people that
Joel and Harrison
and John Stewart and his new clan. Love to have you guys all come up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And go running and do some running adventures. And when, later in the summer we can adventure out into the mountains more. And so we have barely gone 5 miles from my house.
It's crazy. Yeah, literally. It's that close to all these amazing locations. So I'm hoping to do more of these on the road things too because it's a blast. And it gets me out into new places.
And there's some places back east.
I know.
Pennsylvania's good.
Serious. It's just, I'd love to. I need a second job. New York is what I need. I need Trail Manners to come through with some funds, or I need a second job because I would totally be on the road a lot because I love it. It's just fun to see new places, and not even the race part, which I'd like to do. It's stuff like this where I can run 3 days, 4 days in a location, see some different trails. And kind of the highlight ones in a way. Yeah. Like you've got stuff that you've been planning for a month. It's I want to take him here.
I've been planning for prom for a while.
I know. That's what I told him. He's like, I've been planning for a month. I'm like, can I tell you what color shirt I'm wearing so they can match the flower?
Does our cummerbund match?
Does my waist belt match? But thanks for having me up here.
Right on.
Jen, your son, and thanks for sitting in on the first ever guest. I've had to do these by myself before, so first ever guest on the single track session.
I hope it doesn't affect your numbers.
I think we'll probably climb to 8 or 9.
Oh,
yeah, I think so.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So maybe Joel go on the road and climb it even more. So, but thanks for listening to the show. Sorry we'll be about a day late for the launch, but it was totally worth it, and we're hoping to get back on normal schedule. Tuesdays coming up. We're putting together a pretty good list of that. So, again, thanks Jeff for joining me, and we'll catch you everybody next week.